right this moment?
I tell you what, we can't get very far at all without finding somewhere that is underwater and virtually impassable at this point. We got off the interstate earlier to just find a basic Wi-Fi situation, and we got about a half mile off the interstate, and now we can't get back to it.
Wow, because the water has gotten so high on the road that you just came from, it's impassable now?
Yeah, it's just impassable. There were cars going through it a minute ago, and it's going over the hoods. Now there's cars stalled in the water, and it's just virtually impassable from any direction that you go.
And Chris, you know, the fire chief earlier said throughout Shreveport and so many other places in the southeast we're seeing a similar scenario. Cars are driving into this flooded water, and again, they're getting stuck, trapped in their cars, and then needing help. I mean, 6 inches of flowing water can take a person off their feet and drown a person. 2 feet of flowing water, which we've certainly seen, even 3 feet in some areas tonight. 2 feet alone can float a car. And so certainly that is what we've seen at the very least. So difficult to judge the depth of this water, Chris. You're out there in your car in the dark. Is that true? Talk about how difficult it is to judge the water depth.
You know, we're sitting at a crossing now. The water's going over the road, and it's a good 3 to 3.5, maybe even 4 feet deep. And just driving out to it and looking at it, you wouldn't think it's very deep. But once you see a few cars go through it, you actually realize how deep that it is. And it's extremely dangerous because there could be a sudden drop-off. The road could wash out, and you're not aware of it, and then you're in an even worse situation than you were before.
Yeah, Chris, you know, the pictures we're looking at that we're seeing from chasertv.com, streaming, of course, live. These cars just stuck there. The lights are on. The water is above the tires. Did you see these people earlier tonight kind of drive in, get stuck, and then, because there aren't people in these cars we're looking at stuck, are there?
Yeah, actually, I saw this car drive through the water, and the water, I don't know if you can see the small car, but the water was actually coming halfway up the driver windshield, and they kept pushing through it. There was a police officer here just a few minutes ago. He's actually gone back to his car and helped the driver out of the car. So the car is abandoned now, and I'm not sure how they're going to get it out, or if they're going to wait for the water to recede, or what they're going to do with it.
Oh, my God, that person must have been so incredibly shaken up. Such a scary scenario. I mean, we always say, as does the National Weather Service, turn around, don't drown, it's dark, you don't know the depths of the water. Have you seen more cars turn around or more cars drive up to the water, pause, just stop, you know, and then go through?
In the past 20 to 30 minutes that we've sat here, there's probably been anywhere from 12 to 15 cars come by us, and I think I've seen 2 turn around. Everybody thinks that they can go on through it, and if you look out on my streaming video, you can see 4 or 5 cars that are actually stalled, and now they can't get through it.
It's unbelievable, the depth of the water, Chris. And what about just in the last few hours, kind of the rising motion of the water? Has that been incredible to witness from where you are?
You know, it really has, and it, you know, we came through this area probably an hour ago before we talked to you last time, and it was passable. You know, the water was maybe 3 to 4 inches across the road. So, you know, in the past hour, it's risen a good 3 to 4 feet.
Wow. So, Chris, you're out there in Shreveport, ensconced in your car, in the water, watching cars come in, get stuck in the water. People watching from home in Shreveport, sitting at home right now, debating whether to go out. What do you tell them?
Stay home. If you don't have to be out, don't get out. It's not worth it, and you're not going to get very far.
I mean, is that the biggest trouble you've seen? Of course, we had the tornado move through, and the damage just outlandish in downtown Shreveport. Incredibly scary when you see that car that the steeple fell onto, which we'll show in a little bit. But right now, Chris, what's the biggest danger out there?
The biggest danger is the flooding. There is also a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning with a few of the smaller cells that come through. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a guy trying to drive through the water right now.
I know, Chris. Go in tight. Let's watch that.
He's driving through. You can't see his headlights now. It's over his hood, and he's in a full-size pickup. So the water's a good, 3.5 to 4 feet deep.
Well, I'm just watching the one car, Chris. Stay on this full, if you will, Nancy. Let's just leave this up. All right, that car making it through. So that car, as you said, so few turn around. That car made it through. Is there another car coming up behind that, Chris?
No, they're trying to pull another car out, but the actual red car floated as that truck went through. So, I mean, it's obvious that 2.5, 3 feet of water can take a car off its wheels and move it, because we just saw it firsthand.
Oh, Chris Hare, thank you so much. This has really been incredible. You know what? We had less water than this in Atlanta, Georgia, and there must have been at least a dozen people who have died in their cars going through water like that and getting trapped. So a scary night. We're back with our severe weather expert coming up in a moment.